Today I'll be talking about disempowerment tactics in dating, how sometimes I'll speak about men, how sometimes they can disempower you. It could be with their words, with their energy, with their actions. And dating has been very complicated because of that, because a lot of men, not all, but most of them are more into I don't want to blame men or anything like that, but men are struggling with certain things in them. They have a hell inside of them, and they have been conditioned certain ways. That's why I don't blame them, because it's how they were conditioned, right? They were conditioned to control women, to disempower women. So therefore, they don't know any better. It's how they were raised by their parents, their society, what they learned from friends, school, everywhere. So they condition, because men and women are not conditioned the same way, right? Men are conditioned to look at women certain way. That's why I said not all men, because it really depends on how that man was conditioned from birth. Men and women are conditioned differently. But this is why dating is tough, and which is why a lot of women are choosing the single life and no kids, not because they don't desire to be with a partner, but because, the problem is what's happening in the world right now, and how the previous generation, they showed us, like the women that came before us have shown us how miserable they were with the men, because of the disempowerment. Because men disempower you, even though now we're in a different timeline, but unfortunately men are still operating from that mindset of they have the tendency to disempower you. How do they disempower? Well, they can disempower you by, disempowering tactics comes in many forms, and it's very subtle. You can't really tell unless you have a self-awareness. Until you gain knowledge, you won't be able to, and also experience, you won't be able to know, because they're not very direct with their disempowerment. It's no longer, dating is no longer fun. You meet someone when you meet a man nowadays, he says that he wants love and relationship and all that, but he doesn't know anything about that, because he's more concerned of how to disempower you, whether that is giving you backhanded compliment, whether that is manipulating you, whether that is manipulating your energy so that he can benefit off you. So somehow a lot of these men are not confident enough to do right by women, right? So unfortunately, they don't know how to do right by you. So they have this tendency to, to say things, to do things to disempower you, because once you're disempowered, that is the only way they will be able to thrive. That's the only way they will be able to keep you, because unfortunately, the way they were conditioned, they weren't raised in a way to coexist with empower women. Of course, like I said, not all men are this way, but a lot of men are conditioned this way. They're conditioned to only coexist with women that are disempowered. So if you are a confident, beautiful, empowered woman, the dating market will be tough for that woman, because the majority of men will be intimidated by that woman, and they will only approach you to disempower you, to bring you down to a level that they know that they can keep you, because the level you at right now and the level you're growing into, they can't catch up with that because of the way they're conditioned. They have fear about the woman empowerment, because they are conditioned that, because you have to look at history, right? The ancient time, men have been conditioned to believe that woman empowerment means their failure, right? They're conditioned that if a woman is empowered, she can leave you, she can, do this and that. But they don't realize that a woman will only leave you because you're not improving yourself, because you are being abusive. A woman wouldn't leave you if you're loving, if you're caring, if you're doing self-development, if you are breaking the generation curses, right? But unfortunately, there are a group of males that are conditioning the men to believe that, the only solution is to control the woman, right? And so it's hard for women right now who are empowered to date men, because that's what it seems like. We are dating only we only want to date the 1%, but it's not that we're trying to date the 1%. It's not that we are chasing money. Unfortunately, it's just the dating market is full of men who are conditioned to disempower you. Like, they're conditioned to put you down to a point where they know that you can't get up and that you will stay, because when you're disempowered, it means that you're in a low vibrational, meaning you're insecure, you no longer feel confident, you no longer feel beautiful, because you are disempowered. So therefore, and also he takes away all the things that empower you. He will brainwash you and program you to thinking that everything that is beautiful, amazing, empowerment in you is he will put some negativity around it. I'll give some examples, right? Like, there are men, for example, when I show them who I am, like, they see how amazing I am, they see how independent, confident I am, but then, I'm still a feminine woman, I'm still feminine, and I love being feminine. I've never been anything else. But because now I have education, because now I have, my own, I provide for myself, I take care of myself, a majority of them, they don't know how to coexist with women like that, unfortunately. And because they're so used to, because they're conditioned to be with women who are always inferior somehow, right? Less education, cannot provide for themselves. So it's very challenging, like for a man to see us like, hey, like, we could still need each other without disempowering, right? And like, there are certain situations where a man would say things to you to disempower you, such as, he would say to you, for example, like, if you use, like, let's give an example, if you use a dating app and you're a pretty woman, some guys will message you and be like, you're too cute to be on here. That's a disempowerment words. So that's what you need to also focus on, because these words are very subtle. First, he will compliment you. Oh, I love your photos. I love everything about your profile. You look amazing. You look gorgeous. You look beautiful. But, you're too cute to be on here. He's trying to paint as if you do not belong here. Like, there must be something wrong with you. Because someone who is healthy-minded, someone who is not threatened by your beauty or anything, would not say that. So there are certain men that will attack you because they are battling with their own demons inside of them that they can't do anything about it. And they're not improving themselves. So instead, they will project that onto you. Like, some days they end on a first date a lot of times. Why? Because they would say things that are very rude and disrespectful. A lot of times nowadays, dating doesn't even, like, if I decide to meet someone on a first date, like, I can't stand them after the first date. Like, there was a time when a guy, he said something very rude to me. We went out for dinner, movie, and everything was good. We were vibing, and then he said, let's go meet with my friends and let's hang out somewhere else. And then he asked me what I do for fun, and I told him that I like to do certain things. Anyway, I told him that I like to do certain things, like, I like to go to the spas, I like going for picnics, blah blah. But anyway, when I mentioned that I like to go to the spa, now he put something sexual into it. He said, do you like to do massages? I'm like, yeah, I go for sauna, massage, whatever, right? That's normal. But then in front of his friends, he says to me that, oh, do you also do happy ending? And I was like, dude, like, why would you say that? Like, no, like, I don't know what you thinking, like, how could you even think like that? And then I realized that that was a disempowerment tactic, because he wanted to make me look bad in front of his friends. He wanted to ruin my reputation. I was like, why would someone think that if you go to massages? First of all, as a woman, as a beautiful woman, I don't need to go to some place, spa, to touch me up. Like, I don't need all of that. Those things usually are for men who are in their 40s, 50s, 60s, that are sex deprived, correct? But a young woman like me that's pretty, why would I need, something like that? So anyway, like I said, that was this empowerment tactic. But anyway, I responded respectfully. I said, that's not how it is. Like, I don't even know why you mentioned that. And then after that date, I blocked him. I said, this is not going to work out, because you tried to disempower me. You tried to, disrespect me and undermine me on purpose. So he disregarded the whole date. Everything was good. We were vibing. We had a good, time. And then he had to say something like that and ruin the whole thing, because he was more focused on power and humiliating me rather than having me as a close connection. But also, he needed me. He wanted me. He was not happy that I decided to. He was begging me, please forgive me, please forgive me. Also, after that incident that happened, he asked me if he wanted to kiss me, and I said, I don't know you like that, and I do not kiss on the first date. That's what I told him, and that's true. I do not kiss strangers. Like, I don't even know you. Why would I kiss you on the first date, right? I need to have some sort of familiarity and connection with you, and that takes time. It's not something like the first date. Anyway, so I told him, I set a boundary. I said, like, no, I'm not ready for kissing, I need some time. Guess what? After a couple hours later, he surprised me with a kiss without my consent. All of a sudden, he jumps on me. Like, I was off guard as well, and he caught me off guard, like, and he kissed me quickly on the mouth and turned away. I was so upset. I got up. I booked myself Uber, and I left him there. And I blocked him. That's how you should act, ladies. Like, if someone is like, you told them something, you set a boundary, and you said no, and then they undermine you and did it anyway. Even like, this dude was begging, bro. Like, he was crawling on his knees begging me to forgive him, but it was not genuine. It wasn't genuine. It was a tactic. You see, he was hoping that he wanted to exploit my empathy. So he was hoping that, because this has been working on women who were probably more vulnerable, more, unaware, lack of knowledge, women who were more innocent or some sort. Like, so in a sense, I don't mean like, they don't have any experience, but I mean like they're not educated on this empowerment tactics, like people who, manipulate, gaslight you. There are people who exploit your empathy, your kindness, and exploit and guilt trip you, right? So, and for me, I've had enough experience with family members, with society in general. Like, so I've seen a lot of people who have used these little like humane things like kindness and empathy against me. So he was hoping that I would forgive him. He thought that I would forgive him. And I said, no, I've already told you that this is something that I wasn't comfortable with, and you forced yourself on me, basically. So what makes you did it on purpose? What makes you think that I would just, be like, okay, I forgive you? Like, I'm not gonna wait for you to do something even worse, because if he could do that, imagine what he could do next. Because that is also a part of grooming, ladies. You have to watch what men do. Because, for example, if I had forgiven him and I looked away and I said, okay, it's fine, and I make excuses for him, he probably liked me too much, he probably, if I made excuses for him, that dude would have, done more stuff on me and get away with it, because he was breaking my boundary. So the first boundary to break, you need to get out. you cannot forgive. You can forgive but block him. Don't ever be around him. So that's what I did. And because he was trying to disempower me, he was trying to groom me into submission, a very toxic submission. And that kind of this is what I'm saying, a lot of these men are conditioned like that. They don't know how to be. He was a young handsome guy, like, with a bright future. He didn't turn out to be a loser to me, but with those kind of attitude, I realized that spiritually he was a loser. You see, sometimes people may have things on material wise, but then on the inside they could be spiritually dead or spiritually loser. So he was spiritually a loser, which is why he was trying to come at me like that, trying to be disempower me, because he didn't feel comfortable with my confidence, because I'm confident, and this is why they come at me like that. They always attack confident women, because they know that they can be without, like, a confident man can coexist with a confident woman, but a man who's not confident cannot be with a confident woman. He will try to break her down, disempower her, because that is the only way he can be with her, coexist with her energy, because there's an energy clash. When a man is insecure, it does not matter how much money he have, how much things he have, how good he looks, how tall he is. If on the inside he is not secure, he would definitely use that against you, project all that insecurity onto you, because he cannot see himself like being more confident, because some people confidence are performance. Some men, they perform confidence, they're not embodying, because there's two different types of confidence. There are people who embody confidence and they have quiet internal confidence that they have embodied, and then there are people who just pretend and perform confidence. And I've seen a lot of men, like, for me, I'm someone who has quiet confidence. Like, I do not perform. I'm naturally confident on the inside, so some men, they feel that energy around me, that confidence. So if they're not confident on the inside, they will get triggered by me, and then they will have the need to disempower me so that they can feel better about themselves, right? So that was an example, right? And I've seen this situations many times. And I realized that, it's really hard to tell when a man is, insecure. I feel like the only way you can tell is to have an experience with that person. Sorry, it's a cold season here. I'm a little coughing. So another tactic they use is, whenever you share an opinion, right? When you share an opinion, they will always have a reason to reject your opinion. Like, they always want to disagree with you, even though it's unnecessary, because they want to mentally, energetically tell you that you don't mean anything, you are nothing, basically. That is another form of disempowerment, right? Another disempowerment is they will approach you, and then they will match your values. They will seem like they like you, that they are serious about you, and then after the first call, they don't really engage with you further. And then after 4 days later, he says, hey, I appreciate your time, but we're not the right fit for each other. I genuinely wish you the best. Like, you waited 4 days to tell me that? Like, 4 days later, you are disqualified. Like you see, a man is supposed to text you every single day. Like, not just texting, but I mean, he needs to engage with you every day. So, ladies, the way you protect yourself in dating, do not chase a man, do not approach him, do not initiate any conversation, because when you do that, now you are responsible for everything. You are responsible, and you're leading the connection. So because unfortunately men use your actions against you, right? Men will use everything you say or you do against you. I'm not saying all men will do that, but I'm saying majority of them will do that, which is why traditionally women do not approach men. Women don't initiate anything with men. They inspire the man to approach. They inspire the man by attracting. You're not supposed to initiate. For example, if he messaged you today and you guys hit it off, you talked good and everything was fine, but then the next day he didn't text you, and then another day goes by, you're not supposed to reach out to him. You just observe his action, observe what he does. Now, few days goes by, you also need to have expiration. I have expiration date when I'm dating man. How do I do that? So at first I started with 1 week expiration date, meaning if we first connect, if I exchange contact with you, if you approach me, and because I never approach first, I attract, right? So once I, exchange contact with, once they come to me and they show interest and I reciprocate, and then I'll be like, okay, well, yeah, let's connect. And then when we connect and we have a little conversation, also, I don't do texting. Y'all need to have calls. Don't do texting. Texting can be really time consuming and you can't really get an idea of the person. Men hide, I'm talking about the men who play games, they can hide behind the screen. So this is why you need to be on the phone with him, because the voice can reveal a lot. The voice has energy. Also, videos have energy, so you will be able to dodge a lot of bullets just by having a phone call and conversation. But don't do it quickly. You need to have at least few minutes or 30 minutes to an hour conversation with someone you're just getting to know, to have an idea how they will react to you. And you need to be able to have more than surface level conversation. You need to be able to have conversation that means a lot to you, your values, your purpose. But also as a woman, you're not supposed to reveal too much about yourself, because like I said, men will use those informations against you. So therefore, even basic questions like where are you from, what do you do for a living, you need to keep it vague as much as possible with men, but always expect them to give you all the details, because as a woman, you need to know if this man is stable, if this man is someone who has a stability in all areas of his life, because you don't want to waste your energy and everything just by having surface level conversation and him. So you need to understand, you're not the same as a man. You do not have the same responsibilities, right? So understanding that will also protect you. That protected me a lot, for me understanding my role, my responsibility as a woman. And also, it's not what society expects. It's like I form my own responsibility. I do not just fall into this limitations of what a woman should be, what a man should be. I have my own idea of what a woman should be, and I follow my own, what resonates with me. So don't listen to what other people say. Listen to yourself. Listen to what's important to you. What do you like? What type of life you want? What type of man you want? Do not fall into this trap of limitations where woman is supposed to be this way. So that's not what I mean. I mean, have an idea of what type of woman you are and what type of man you want in your life, right? Because unfortunately, you might think that the man is not the man you want, might not even exist. But that's not the point. The point is to dodge the bullets from the men who will come to waste your energy and time and to control you and to disempower you, right? So, and also the key is to never give up. So it's about manifesting because it's about believing something higher power, believing that the creator will give you your ordained person, the person that was meant for you, the fated person. And even though sometimes it's hard to believe that those things exist, and men that you share with will definitely disempower and tell you that you're crazy, you're idealistic, you're in a fairy world. But honestly, you need to follow what you feel close to and not what they say. And sometimes you need to keep that to yourself. Share with people who resonate, but don't share with people who will disempower you. If you share your reality, your perception with someone and they're constantly rejecting that, that's disempowerment. So you need to only take information that empowers you from others. So when you're interacting with men, you need to take only the information that empowers you. If he says something that is empowering you need to reject that. You cannot internalize that. I will give you another example of a disempowerment tactic. The other day when I was at the sauna, there was this young lady that came in. So, the sauna room, they have a lower level and an upper level, right? And I'm sitting upper level. Young lady comes in. There were two older men sitting in the sauna as well. Young lady comes in, she's vibrating high, she was smiling and she was just being polite or friendly or just, normal. But obviously it's not normal for people who don't say much. She was just being, I don't know what's the word, like, just really friendly. So she comes into the sauna and she says hi to everyone. And she was sitting, and then she sat close to some older man that was sitting there with some other guy, and she sat at the upper level, the same level I was sitting. The older man was sitting at the lower level. So there are two, the sauna is like, it's down and above, right? So below and above. So she said above, and then she said hi, to the people that was sitting down and whatever. And then the older man, the first thing he says was, "That's too hot up there. Like, how are you sitting up there? Like, it's too hot up there." I was just listening to what he was saying. He said it was too hot up there. And she said that's how I like it, right? That she said, "That's how I like it. I like it hot up here." And you know what he said? He said, "Well, I don't know how you do it, but, that's extremely hot. And, it's also bad for your skin." And she said, "What?" In my head, I was like, also like, what? Because sauna is actually good for your skin, It's only bad, like, if doing overexposure. But this girl just came in and nobody's exposed themselves to the heat that long. We stay only 10 minutes, 15 minutes. We get out, we take a break, we come back in. You know how sauna works. Like, you don't stay there for 1 hour. That's overexposure. That's also not normal, right? You stay there maximum 20 minutes. Some people do 30 minutes. It depends on your capabilities. But anyway, nobody stays that long. But this man was like, "It's bad for your skin." And the girl, this poor girl that was vibrating high, and she was, positive, and she was saying, "I like it up here because it's hotter." And this man had to say something negative because he felt insecure. I wanted to say something like, "Girl, don't believe that, do your own research," because I know it was BS. And it also put doubt in my mind, and he put the girl also in doubt. Like, "Oh, like, I enjoy usually up here. Now I have to worry about my skin." And then he finished it with, "But you're young. I'm sure it's not gonna hurt you like that. Like, but for older people like me, we get wrinkles and all that, blah, blah, blah." And I was like, he was totally projecting onto that young lady. He immediately felt, she only said hi. And instead of having a normal, friendly conversation with her, he had to say something so negative to put doubt in her mind. This was also another disempowerment. He was disempowering her. She was saying something that she enjoys. This is not something severe, but this is an example of how subtle it is, how some men will disempower you. If you say that, "I enjoy this," like, it's the same thing that a dude that said to me when I told him I go to the spa, I go for a sauna massage, and he said, "Do you also do happy ending?" That was also disempowerment, because that makes me look like a, you know what I'm saying? That doesn't look good. So this is all the disempowerment tactics. It's humiliating you, embarrassing you, trying to make it seem like you are something you're not, trying to paint a picture that you're not. And this is all demonic, energy, literally, because this is what also reveals who they are. It says a lot more about their character, who they are, what energy they be on. And these type of men are operating from demonic energies. they want your bright soul. Like that poor girl, I wanted to tell her like, hey, do your research, don't believe that. Because what if her little mind is like, oh, I'm worried now about my skin, and she's gonna feel down, and then she's gonna be not using the sauna that she enjoys. You get what I'm saying? So the only reason why he was saying that is because men have this mindset of like, a woman can handle that much heat up there, but as a man who's older, like, it's so hard for me to go up there. So he felt insecure or something. I mean, you know what I mean? It's so pathetic, but he felt insecure about a young lady enjoying her sauna up there above him. So he had the need to disempower her so that he can feel better about himself. And this is very demonic energy, because good people don't do those things. Angelic people who are operating from light, from good, healthy mind, pure heart, they don't have the energy. They don't put out negative energy. If someone is putting doubt in your mind, it's usually demonic energy. It's a form of demonic energy. It might not be as huge like bad demons, but I'm talking about these are behaviors of demonic energies. All these low vibrational energies like insecurity, jealousy, gaslighting, manipulation, the need to control you, all of these are demonic energies, and they are disempowering you, right? And I've seen this a lot, and this is why dating is so tough. And the more I see, the more my eyes is open, the more I learn, the more I'm very spiritually aware, and so I see things for what they are, and I see these men for who they are. I can see their spirit, I can see how they be functioning, and it makes me feel like, how tough it is, to meet someone who's unshakable. Because also I come to conclusion that I can't be with a regular man, because a regular man can be possessed by a demon, can be influenced by a demon, right? Meaning they have the tendency to be influenced by demonic energies. So so at the end of the day, I need someone who can be very spiritually strong enough to fight those demons, and unfortunately a lot of men have been weakened energetically. They're not strong enough to fight the demons. Like a large amount of population of males have been possessed by demonic energy, and they need saving. And we don't have many men who can fight those demons. You can tell by the way they speak. You can tell, I see them all day, on social media, how men are thinking, how they be functioning. And I see them every day of my life, like the way they look at me, the way they would talk to me, that I know they're functioning. There's something going on inside of them, and they pretending that they're okay, but they're not okay. And they know that they can't be with a woman who has a pure heart, unless she's disempowered. He needs to bring you to his level, otherwise he can't be with you. Anyway, these are all disempowerment tactics that I noticed. Like, there are a lot more actually, but those were a few examples. You have to be careful with what they say and how you. This is why I also don't wanna. That's why I don't initiate. I don't approach, because like I said, the example that I gave, like the guy who matched my values and everything, and then he didn't engage with me the next day, and then I give expiration 1 week, and then after 4 days later he says that we're not the right fit. I blocked him. I didn't even respond. I blocked him, because I'm like thinking like, this was a power thing. Like, why are you telling me now? Like, what makes you think that I was waiting for you? First of all, what makes you think that we had anything to even say we're not the right fit? Like, we didn't even start anything. We had one conversation, and you were supposed to pursue me further. Or if you don't pursue me, it means that it's not working out. So for me, I already knew that you were disqualified. But like, I gave 1 week to see if what he would say, and then I was planning after 1 week I would block. But you know what? Now my expiration date is 2 days. Now it's 2 days. So which means is that when a man and I connect, and we have the first day conversation, if he is not engaging with me the next day and 2 days pass, I will block him. because I don't want to be exploited for power. Because a lot of these men, some of them, they can't handle women's rejection or women not chasing them. Like this man, he was probably used to women chasing him, asking for clarity. If a man says something to you, don't seek clarity. If he doesn't want you, don't seek clarity, right? If he's not, look, it's very simple to tell, because a man who wants you, he will pursue you and he will be consistent. It's very simple like that. But some women have been conditioned that, you know, you need to go after the man, chase him, find out why he's acting that way. Why? Like, no, you don't need answers. You need God. That's it. You just need God and yourself, because the truth is out there clear. So if he is not engaging with you after you had the first conversation, do not initiate anything. Just wait. If he doesn't have an expiration date, I give myself 2 days now. It used to be 1 week, now it's 2 days. If they do not engage with me the second day or the third day, the first day and the second day after we connected the first time, 2 days later, I block them. I don't want excuses. I don't care about it, because, you know, we have technology. They can say hello to you. I don't care. If they're busy, I don't want them. Because at the end of the day, a man who wants you, he wants you. It's so simple. He's not going to play games. He's not going to prioritize work over you. Plus, if he prioritizes work over you, why would you want to be with a man like that in the first place? If he says that I'm too busy to even message you, you don't need that. You don't need that. If he says that I work all day, that's why I can't message, you don't need that. Why would I want a man who working 24 hours? Like, you don't have time for me. You cannot spiritually grow with me. If you like, we work certain hours. Some people work 8 hours. Some people work 10 hours. Some people work 12 hours. But you need to also have the standard of like there was a dude who said to me that he's off during the week. I'm off, like, let's say Saturday, Sunday, and he said I'm off Tuesday and Wednesday. Tuesday and Wednesday is my fitness classes. After work, I have a fitness class. So I was like, he wanted me to compromise. Again, men don't always compromise for women. They expect the woman to sacrifice and to compromise. I was like, okay, man, like, I don't think this is gonna work out, because I'm available on weekends to meet up, but you're available on weekdays. And those days, I'm not gonna sacrifice my workout for you. So what is gonna be? Like, he's like, okay, well, maybe one weekend I can take off from work and request off and I can come see you. But why do I need only one? Like, what about after the first date? Would you be able to meet up on weekends? He said no. It's so basically he wanted to take one day. He wanted to do one time sacrifice, asking his job, can I take Sunday off to meet up with me? And then when he meets up with me and emotionally gets me somehow, then he will try to get me to give up my fitness classes on Tuesday, Wednesday, and come out after work. And I don't like going out days on weekdays. First of all, I'm very busy. I have work. I have things, life, you know. I cannot compromise like that. It's not like he pays my bills, right? I pay my own bills, so I'm not gonna sacrifice during the week. So I told him this is not gonna work out, but he was trying so hard to get me to compromise. But eventually he realized that it wasn't gonna work, and he didn't budge in. He didn't say, okay, I will do this. He was like, let's take some time. Let's see. No, why do I need to take time? This is also another tactic. It's not disempowerment, but it's a form of disempowerment, because they want to play the waiting game, which is like, you know, this is why you need to be decisive as a woman. If men are not decisive, because actually the men who are right for you will be decisive, but the ones who playing games with you, they will not be decisive. They will take their time to get to know you. They will not even give you the information you need in the beginning for you to make informed decision. They will withhold that information to drag you out. And if you're a woman who goes with the flow and you're too friendly, they will eat you up like that, and you will find yourself involved and be with someone this is how women get trapped in situationship, is because I'm not saying everyone's situation is the same, but I'm saying majority of the time is because you were casual. Casual doesn't protect you as a woman. A man wants casual because it's easy. If anything comes easy, they will exploit it. So, which is why, as a woman, we have to be strict with our time, with our energy, with our boundaries, and make sure that you have expiration date. Make sure that there is no room for them to exploit, because a lot of men will come to exploit something. It could be anything, something you didn't even think about that someone will exploit. Like, that's how low the bar is. They will exploit the tiniest little thing that you didn't even think about. And this is why it's so wild. This is why dating is not fun. You have to be more aware of like how this man is going to use anything that you say, do, or have. Literally, sometimes it could be something you're wearing. He will say something about what you're wearing to disempower you, or he will say something like, there was a man who said I have a, like, curly hair, for example, like, let's say, and then he said to me that, oh, you have a pubic hair. Oh, you have a pubic, your hair looks like a pubic. Like, you know what I mean? And my hair is beautiful. Like, like, my hair is naturally beautiful. Like, he was jealous of my hair. And this guy was a black guy. This jealousy around these men is wild. Like, you would think, you think that men don't get jealous, but they get jealous. Oh wow, they get jealous of your beauty, how you are. That's why you don't even feel like they are men anymore. Like, anyway, like, the point is, watch out for these disempowerment tactics. Like, this is very serious. You can't just relax around men anymore. You have to watch what they say to you, how they react, how they behave. If they behave inappropriately, you need to be decisive. Like, I've been decisive for a while now. Like, for the last couple of years, I've been very decisive. I don't play around. I don't entertain them long. Like, if I see something negative or they do something, I'll be like, bye. Also, a lot of them can't deal with boundaries. They look at boundaries as I don't know, like, negative. I feel like any man who sees your boundaries negative is a red flag. Like, your boundaries are your love. Boundaries are love. Boundaries is loving yourself and protecting yourself. And someone who comes at you like, oh, you have boundaries, and they take it personally, that's a red flag. And also, we need to stop normalizing sharing information about what we do, where we're from. It's so normalized to share where you're from, your identity, who you are, that if you say, hey, I'm not ready to share those information, let me see first if I can trust you, they take that as so personal. Like, why? It's so normal to share those things. You should tell me. And I'm like, I don't owe you those informations. And as a woman, why do you care what I do for a living? Like, as a man, you should not be interested in what I do for a living. What are you adding to that if I tell you? Because as a man, you have to approach women like, what am I adding to her life? Not like, I want to extract some information to see how I can use her, benefit from her. This is why you can't share anything that you do about with men anymore. Like, you can't even say what you do for work, because it's like, they would think like, oh, okay, since you can take care of yourself, like, you probably don't need someone to provide for you. No, if you're gonna sleep with me and you want me, you're gonna have to take responsibility for that. If you want my body, you're gonna have to take responsibility for that. And that's what they don't like. And for me, I have very strict rules. So expiration dates are 2 days, like after. Also, if you had a first date with him and he doesn't message you after the date or call you, that dude is not interested in you. You need to block him. Okay? Or you can use him for anything that won't hurt you. You know what I mean? Because, like I said, when he's interested in you, he should be clear about that. He will do the right things. He will make sure that you're home safe, but doesn't mean that he will follow you home and you will show him where you live. Never do that. But wherever area he needs to drop, he drops you there. But you don't let him see where you live, okay? And also, he needs to message you or call. It's better if he calls you. Hey, I had a good day. I had a nice time with you. I really enjoyed. I really like you. He needs to express that after the date. If he's not doing that, and he just messaged you casually after a day later or 2 days later, that guy is disqualified. I mean, that guy is disqualified unless you want him for things, and you don't see him as, and unless you want him for something else, right? But I mean, if you want a man who is like, you know, a partner, that is gross. Like, you need to, he's disqualified. You need to block him. And this is why I said, like, you know, don't approach, don't initiate anything. You know, if he asks you out, you choose where you want to go. Don't let him choose. A lot of these dudes would choose something very bad, you know. Anyway, that's it for today. I hope you guys learned something from this video, and I wish you well.